Like and subscribe right now, or else this will be in your bed tonight. r/ask Reddit by Planet Reddit. What is one of the dumbest things you've done when your brain was on autopilot? I work at a busy restaurant, so I end up saying corner hundreds of times a night as I go back and forth around corners and doorways in the kitchen. Was running food to a table. Set it down gently. And in my sweetest customer service voice I said corner while looking the customer right in the eye instead of here is your soup or something like I usually do. They looked confused. My brain tried to reset. And so naturally I said thank you as if that made it better. I ended up just backing away. It was a lost cause. Oh man. Restaurant callouts just stick with you. I did something similar when at the grocery store. I was walking around an older lady to get to the cheese and just belted out behind. Scared the crap out of the poor thing. This is a while ago. But I was working at McDonald's and worked in the morning, not a morning person. Still not. My brain wakes up around 10 AM and I think it was like 8 AM. And I handed this lady her large coffee and the sun shined bright in my eyes and all I said was praise the sun and she looked at me all weird and drove off. I told my friend you're welcome. After he sneezed and excused himself the other day. Let a coffee machine run without a jug under it. Went to take a shower and had to clean up the mess afterwards. Lifted my welding mask up and forgot it was on my head. Then went to get a new mask. Flipped my Kindle over to read the other side of a document. The reverse millennial. Tore open a sugar packet. Poured it directly into the trash. Tossed the empty paper packet into my coffee. I've done this too many times to count. Making coffee before you had your coffee is a sport. I shook my phone to see how full the battery was. Not gonna lie, I went that's a good idea and almost tried it. I was a kitchen employee at Arby's when I was 18. We used to have sub rolls that were foot long. But the only subs we sold were 6-inch. So you had to cut each roll in half before you used it. I was just zoned out one day. And I ended up cutting the sub roll in half. Putting the knife back in the sub roll bag. And then trying to use the sub roll to cut the next sandwich. My manager saw it and ducking died. Imagine being a customer and seeing your employee trying to cut bread with bread. I used the breads to destroy the breads. I was trying to make some scrambled eggs. Basic prep. Crack the eggs. Put the eggs in a bowl. Toss the shell. My dumbus. Crack the egg. Put egg in the trash. I literally stood above the trash can with the shell in my hands processing what had just happened for about 30 seconds. I just had the faint feeling of I ducked up and was wondering exactly how for way too long. Not me, but one time my GF got handed her drink at Starbucks. Said thanks. Went over to the bar to get cream or something and immediately dropped her fresh drink straight into the trash can at the bar. Her mother and I just looked at her and started laughing. The barista saw what happened and with a it happens attitude agreed to replace the drink. It also helped that no one was in there except us, haha. We still bring it up every now and then and all laugh. My GF included. What a nice barista. Oh, you wanna know what I think of your drink? Huh. Throws it in the trash. That's right. I put my dirty plate in the freezer instead of the dishwasher. Dish is on hard mode. Gotta get those tough stains out somehow. Thrown a bowl of cereal on my bed. God blessed me. Because even though it was Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I like to eat it dry. I slathered my face with hair gel this morning. My condolences. I was working fast food and taking orders both inside and for the drive-thru. I took someone's order inside at the counter and told them to pull forward to the second window. While on autopilot, goes outside and stands at the window. Put a dog biscuit into the washing machine instead of a detergent pod. I realized before turning it on. So I was able to recover it. And fed the Tide Pod to your dog. Drove 17 miles past my interstate exit before I snapped back to reality. I drove about the same distance during which my memory is non-existent. But during that time, I successfully and correctly turned off at the correct exit, stopped at a toll booth, and took the toll stub from the machine. It proved to me that driving on autopilot existed well before the technology was even invented. Oh, there goes gravity. Waited at a stop sign for 5 minutes thinking it was a red light. I was not on my phone. I didn't hold anybody else up luckily. Reminds me of the old saying. Drunk drivers are more likely to run a stop sign. Stoned drivers are just gonna wait for the sign to turn green. I went inside the gas station. Paid. Then drove off. Twice. Didn't even fill up. Just drove away. Edit. Change satiation to station before the car satiation jokes become too terrible to bear. I've done the same thing going through the drive-thru a time or two. Pay for my food. Get my receipt. Drive off. Turn around and go back for my food. My brother ordered nachos at a Mexican restaurant. Grabbed a chip and proceeded to watch himself dip it into his tea. After about 2 dips, he came back into reality. Shook his head and went, "What? My mother is an EMT." After a 24-hour shift she came home and tried to unlock the front door with her car keys button and did that for about 5 minutes. I once drove to work when I was supposed to drop my younger brother off at school. Neither of us seemed to notice until we got to my workplace and I had turn around. He was late. Little bro noticed for sure. He just wanted to skip class. As someone with no natural sense of direction, it is entirely possible he doesn't keep track if he isn't driving. I've gotten in my car on the weekends to go somewhere and gone on autopilot and realize it as I'm pulling into my work's parking lot. I'm like, why the duck did I drive to work? I've had similar experiences. I had 3 jobs for a while. And occasionally I'd get dressed for the right job. Then drive straight to the wrong one and not realize it until I'm at the door. Or answering the phone at job A with job B's greeting. Imagine calling a Pizza Hut and getting the suicidal hotline greeting. TV remote in the fridge. I pet my laptop thinking it was my dog. I pet my friend's brother-in-law while we are watching a movie and he was sitting on the floor. We had just met about 3 hours prior. Edit. Thank you for the gold. It made my embarrassment worth it. He's just sitting there thinking nice, unexpected, but nice and lets you continue. Went to the gym. Walked right past the desk where you check in and get a locker key. Walked into the locker room. Stood in front of a locker and was absolutely puzzled about what to do next. I can hear a buzz sound. Like you get in a video game. Then a screen pops up missing locker key. In an adventure game it'd be more like it's locked. What do I do now? Was holding my phone and ice cream in a cone. Phone rang. Answered ice cream. A sticky ear is surprisingly uncomfortable. Passes ice cream over to person, it's for you. Moshi moshi bossu. I used the key fob from my car to lock my refrigerator. Yeah. I don't know either. I feel this. I've pointed my key fob at my front door more times than I'd like to admit. My favorite one yet. Did it work? Put a used fork in the trash can instead of the dishwasher. Edit. It's a dishwasher, not a washing machine. Seems I was still on autopilot when I wrote this. Washing machine? Exactly how it sounds. Continuously jammed my work key into my house door. My work key is a big silver one and my house key is one of those picture ones with a bunny on it. I tried to click my house door open with my car keys on more than one occasion. Thank God I'm not the only one who does this. And my car has range. So it literally takes my lights flashing a couple times before I look around to make sure my neighbors didn't see. I poured soda into a bowl. Coca-Cola. I did that once into a bowl of cereal. I meant to get the milk. Instead I got a 2 liter of Diet Coke and poured it onto my cereal. I didn't realize what I had done until I ate some. Swiped up on a paper magazine like it was a screen. This is what boomers imagine children do with books these days. WHAT's on puta? Was brushing my teeth and went to throw something away but ended up spitting all over the floor instead. Once put toothpaste on my razor and very nearly put it in my mouth before the gears in my brain screeched to a halt and the warning sirens went off. I now keep my razor in the shower, far away from my toothbrush. You missed out on a minty fresh shave though. Had a drink in my hand and dumped it out because I checked the time on my watch. A couple of weeks ago, I was driving home. But instead of going to my current house, I drove to my old house. I haven't lived there in over 5 years. I pulled into the driveway and luckily I realized what I had done before I actually got out of the car. I can just imagine you entering the house while some family, going about their day, looks up at you in absolute confusion. What's for dinner? I had a dislocated knee and kicked a soccer ball that was coming towards me. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for 3 videos a day.